We still have comedy, though. We still have great comedy out there. There's always rambling Joe Biden. What the fuck? Joe says shit that even people with Tourette's go, no. No. What is going on? Joe is like your uncle who's on a new drug and hasn't got the dosage right. I'm proud to work with Barack America. He's not a superhero, you idiot. Come here. When FDR was on television, there was no TV back then. Come here, Joe. Sit down.
We're hit with a virus that was met with silence and spread unchecked. Denials for days, weeks, then months. That led to more deaths, more infection, more stress, and more loneliness.
People want to talk about your gaffes. The last few weeks, you've confused New Hampshire for Vermont, said Bobby Kennedy and MLK were assassinated in the late 70s, assured us, I'm not going nuts. Are you going nuts?
Excuse me. My pen away here. I mean, this idea of, slow Joe. Anyway, I shouldn't laugh about it because, anyway.
Joe Biden forgot he was in a video live stream and abruptly walked off camera.
From the time I got to the Senate 180 years ago, the rapidly rising carry a card with me every day with the total number of folks who have been affected by the we launched our campaign over on the Oval back in May 9th. What I've done is I've met with as much as he'd like to be running against somebody else, he's running against me, Joe Biden. Where am I? Over here? Okay. Excuse me. And what am I doing here? I'm going to lose track here. Joe, where are you? Come here. I get up in the morning and look at Jill and say, where the hell are we? And it's amazing. Indian of descent Americans are taking over the country. You, my vice president, my speechwriter, Vinay, I tell you what. Thank you. And I'm happy to take questions if that's what I'm supposed to do, Nance, whatever you want me to do. We heard horror stories of doctors and nurses wearing trash bags over their gown, over their dress, in order so they wouldn't be in trouble. I know I'm called middle class, Joe. It's not meant as a compliment. Means I'm not sophisticated. I'm awfully sophisticated about why, how, and who built this country. And I'm eager to hear next from my good friends. I'm not going to be a mule. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom. But let me be clear. Grocery store work, from the tubes and syringes. I'm coming directly to you for ask a quick favor. And partnerships built on coercion. I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president. The reason I did what I'm doing is because there's an invasion of Hispanics. I'm optimistic. I really genuinely are. Donald, this is president. Honk if you want to trust Americans to begin to trust each other, to mobilize true international effort to pressure. Let me be very clear. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. You know how many tax loopholes there are in the code now? Yeah. 1,640 billion. UAW took incredible CEOs and hedge fund managers. The same is happening in big hospital systems. Why they do that? To conquer devastating diseases. Stop trying to keep your workers organized. By the way, this is my little sister Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh no, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me. Canada and Mexico as neighbors, not as adversaries. But let me be equally clear. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. And meet this climate crisis. Officials in each state have certified mechanism to control drug prices. And the need for environmental justice. Sorry, as a bug. That was a time in the late 60s, the early 60s and 60s. My long friend, time friend, and she's a friend. She's been my friend. 100,000 people. 100,000 out of the 200 and some, or not 200 and some yet, it's 189 or whatever it is. Eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth, $1.4 trillion worth. Out of $1.4 billion. By the way, it's cost a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years. Billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings and 2-point-something billion metric tons of CO2. People from all across the Hispanic diaspora. I truly believe we have a tremendous opportunity. Hispanic voters, especially right here in Florida. The 230,000 Americans who've lost a loved one. These millstones no longer mark our national mourning. These milestones, I should say, no longer the supply chain crisis from hitting in the first place. Let me be the clearest on this point. I thank the former general. I keep calling him general, but the guy who runs that outfit over there. Strong disagreements are inevitable in a democracy, and strong disagreements are healthy. She's the strongest person I know. She's a backbone like a ramrod. That's the kind of first lady this Jill Biden will be. Our global power to push for a diplomatic resolution. We shine the light of lamp of liberty to open wide their doors. Racial equity on our domestic economic transformational. But we lead by the example of our power, not just the example of our power, but the example. We're out there, and it's what we say. And accessibility that houses pretrial detainees. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but you're... And I might note parenthetically to confront the existential threat of climate change. Largest exporter of those technologies, act of our the Democratic administration. Pick up your phone now. Send a text to the word United to the number 30330, 30330, or 303-330, or BOO, wait. The pandemically, the president, as president, I understand why many governors we directed FEMA. We are instituting now. Well, we've already identified suppliers. I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental as well as my mental fitness. Here's the deal. We gotta. It's just. But you gotta. I mean, we gotta reassure. Look, here, there's a during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than he called it the World War II. He had the War Production Board, where we open up. Hello, darkness, my old friend. They've got to price in the carbon. They have to price in the price of carbon, and so there's so much. I think. Anyway, look. One more question here. Is it too late to address the climate change? All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris, cannot let this. We've never allowed any crisis from the Civil War straight through to the pandemic of 17, all the way around 16. We have never let our democracy take second fiddle. And in order to avoid those very high numbers, we have to do at least several things. One, we have to depend on what the president's going to do right now. And first of all, he has to wait till the cases before anything happens. Look, the whole idea is he's got to get in place things that were shortages of. You're trying your best. President Trump does pose an excellent threat to this. It's not hypothetical. I'm in the basement of my home. In the basement of my home. They're having some psychological problems. I got a call from a guy who's a great friend. Those poor people who have lost, anyway. Why doesn't he just act like a president? That's a stupid way to say it.
Donald Trump was asked on.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, probably best I don't. I just can't figure the guy. It's like watching a yo-yo. I shouldn't have said it that way. It's like watching.
It feels that way. I want to ask.
And students, this is look, we just went through.
Mr. President,
I've always thought about presidents in terms of not having had the chance to finish whatever it was.
Super Bowl.
President Clinton and I used to talk about how obviously Brady's a great quarterback. Mahomes seems like he's got a lot of potential.
Do you think a year from now there will be...
The Super Bowl is just one of those great American celebrations.
Let's turn to schools.
Sure.
About 20 million American children have not been in the classroom for nearly a year. Women are dropping out of the workforce. Is this a national emergency?
I think not.
Why not?
One of the good things is that Hispanics, people of color, African Americans, et cetera, they're dying at much higher rates. They're getting the COVID at much higher rates than white Americans. And there also is an understandable inhibition on the parts of some of those communities to not trust the government.
The U.S.-China relationship is probably one of the most important in the entire world. Why haven't you called Xi Jinping?
I probably spent more time with Xi Jinping, I'm told, than any world leader has. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts. I'm not sure whether it was a medical school or where the hell I spoke, but it was on the campus.